Hey everyone, it's Jason Henry here with CNC DXF Files.com again. This is video 4, I believe, of the series for that mini sprint car, how to convert a photograph into a cut-ready DXF file. I've got my PlasmaCAM opened. It's a CAM software that normally you would operate your PlasmaCAM cutting system, but most CAM softwares are going to have a lot of the same functionality. But if you do have the PlasmaCAM software program, this will be a very good video for you to watch and learn how to really clean up and optimize those files for any kind of CNC cutting that you're going to do. So what I'm going to do is I've already got the PlasmaCAM program opened. I'm going to go File, and I'm going to import the file that I saved to my desktop. It's the same file that we created in the last tutorial, and actually this is tutorial number 5 here. So we got the mini sprint car. I'm going to open it up, and here we have 2 different images. The image on the left here has single line cut paths. They're represented as white lines, and the design to the right here, that has mostly purple, which represent closed cut paths. Looks like we have a couple entities here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a bounding box around all of these pieces of art here, both designs, and then I'm going to hit the letter K on the keyboard, and what that's going to do is that's going to connect up all the loose ends. So now if you look in here, those little pieces are no longer white, they're all nice and connected, they're closed cut paths. So the image on the left, this is an image that you would normally use for your plasma cutting, and the image on the right here, this is the one that you would use for water jet or lasers, any kind of cutting process that has very fine detail, that's capable of very fine detail, very small cut widths. This design on the left, this could be used for routing purposes, engravings. So let's see, the next thing that we're going to do here with this is we're going to highlight it all in green. That signifies that it's been selected. We're going to hit the F1 key on the keyboard. F1 is going to allow you to draw a bounding box around where you want to zoom in. And let's see, if you hit F4, it's going to zoom back out. What we're going to do from this point is we're going to hit the letter D on the keyboard, and that's going to detect for an intersection. So I'm going to hit D, and it's going to draw all the cut paths, and it's going to highlight all the intersections that this raw DXF file has. So it says 281. Don't be alarmed, it's pretty easy to fix something like that. What we're going to do is we're going to zoom in, F1 key, press it once, and then draw a bounding box wherever you see one of these little X's. F1 again, just draw it in and get it very well zoomed in. Then we're going to go up here, we're going to edit, go to smooth, and you want to smooth over a small distance, a very small distance. That's why we zoom in. If you smooth over a larger distance, it's not going to optimize the files, and it's actually going to change the cut path quite a bit. So we're going to click one spot to another. If you look at it, the node point should have dropped. We hit F4 and we'll zoom back out. F4 on the keyboard, hit it once, it's going to zoom back out. Let's hit detect, D for detect on the keyboard. It's going to run through it much quicker this time. Okay, so it says we're down from 180 something intersections down to 2 just in that one smoothing. So we're going to hit OK. Now we're going to zoom back in, F1, draw your bounding box around it, draw it around again, F1 again, F1 again, and zoom in, edit, smooth from one side to the other, and that should have smoothed it out a little bit more. We're going to F4, that's going to zoom you back out, and we'll detect one more time and see what happens. Well, it looks like we still have one intersection being pretty persistent down there. We'll hit OK. We're going to zoom back in, F1, zoom back in, F1, draw a bounding box around it, F1 again, draw a bounding box around it. And then what we can do is we can actually go edit, break. I'm going to break from here and break from here. Click on it, it'll highlight it in green. You can hit delete on the keyboard, that's going to delete it out. And now we can actually draw, just draw a line from one point to the next. Okay, and then we hit the letter K on the keyboard. That should connect it up, and you can tell it's connected up because it's now purple again. F4 zooms you back out, draw that bounding box around, click and drag. That's going to highlight it all in green again. And let's go detect one more time. Okay, so 0 intersections found. When you find 0 intersections like that, that tells me that the file has been optimized for cutting. You shouldn't get any kind of red flags or anything like that happening when you import the file into your CAM software. So I'm going to hit OK, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the letter M on the keyboard. I'm going to hit M and then go to the left side and the bottom side of the design work. Click, and then you can hit 0, comma 0 on the keyboard, and it's going to move to that coordinate. Hit enter, and it's moving it away. If you hit F4 on the keyboard, it's going to show you, and actually we can hit F6 and zoom a little bit out. This box right here, this represents a 4x4 table in that PlasmaCAM software. So you can see that both of the designs are fitting on that table. So if somebody loads this into their CAM software, it should load properly to where the design work is actually on their table, as long as their table is a 4x4 table. If you got a 2x2 table, maybe half of the design work is going to show up. Some software programs, some CAM software programs won't even register the artwork if it's not put back up here on the artboard. So you want to make sure in the PlasmaCAM program that you bring those designs onto the artboard before you save them again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File and Export, and I'm going to export it as the same name, minisprintcar.dxf. I'm going to hit Save, and it's going to replace it. And when I do save it, I save it as an AutoCAD DXF.dxf with arcs and polylines. So let's hit Yes. So I'm going to draw a bounding box around it, and I'm going to test this file. I'm going to delete it, bring it back into the system, File, Import, and let's see, we'll go down here and find that mini sprint car DXF. There it is. Let it open. Okay, brought it in there. We'll select it, draw that bounding box, click and drag around it. Everything's highlighted in green. Let's hit D for detect and see if what we did cleaned it all the way up. Okay, 0 intersections found. So this DXF file is about as cut ready as you can get without actually converting the cut paths for the cutting process. So that's pretty much how I do all of my DXF files. I bring it into PlasmaCAM, and through that process I really clean up the files and streamline them and optimize them for the cutting process. I think that's enough with how to clean up the files in the PlasmaCAM program.